when you get ready to start powering everything up for one of the services, one of the first things that I do is go ahead and turn on the screens. And so we have two different remotes to power up the screens. You can see kind of what's going on. The difference in this board and that board out there is that you have a recorder here. You don't have amplifiers like you have to power up in the main auditorium. So, but you do have peripherals, so you've got those to power up. You've got a...
this screen, is it always what's on?
Okay, so this particular screen is on the camera that's on the right there by the
So
sound system. Right, so this one stays static all the time.
Okay.
So it never changes, and that gives you the opportunity to see what's going on the main stage. This screen is what you're seeing the video director manage, and so you will see it change in the same way that his does. You'll see what's actually being videoed, and you'll see his previews.
Okay.
So you really have no control over any of these. These are just monitoring only. So, but this one's very important to you. One thing to kind of remember on this one that can throw you off sometimes, did throw me off one day, is you're getting ready to turn on the pastor's mic, and he was coming down into the baptismal, and this was so bright that you actually couldn't see him come into the baptism. So I was kind of waiting on him before I turned it on for him to talk, and then he was talking.
There, huh?
So, you know, you couldn't see that, so you've got to be very careful. This can throw you off sometimes. So, so we have a power, this board is identical to the board that is out there. It's not set up exactly the same, but to power it up is the same, and to turn it off is the same, with the exception of we have a scene set up to turn everything off before we kill the board and before we kill the amplifiers. So we don't have this on here because we don't have amplifiers. So switch is in the same spot, and if you feel back here, you can feel the rocker switch just below the power cord. Flip it on, and it'll take a little while for that to power up. You have speakers so that you hear what is actually coming in, and the speakers are a little bit different. You're not actually totally controlling the volume of what you hear on these speakers by the board. You have a volume control for these speakers right here, so you can have much louder volume. That doesn't mean that you're putting out louder volume. So you can adjust your volume of these speakers independently of what's going on here. So if you want to hear it a little bit louder, then which I like to do because I want to make sure I'm hearing everything, then just adjust your volume control. This is the recorder that we use, and there's a power button here. So let that come up. We always have two SD cards. One is marked AM, one is marked PM. So we'll use the AM for the AM service, PM for the PM service. Before the service, always make sure and insert your SD card in. You will see the screen change to SD card, and you'll see that it's just going through a process, and once it settles down, then you can set the recorder up for recording. Now, there's a very important step in setting up the recorder for recording. So really the only button, these are 5 buttons here, but the only button we really have to worry about is the record. So I'm not sure why this is actually looking like it's recording. it shouldn't be recording because we haven't pushed record.
It does that. I don't know why, but it does.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Sometimes it does that. So one of the things that it's a two-step process to do your recording. Hold the button in first, and you'll see, and hold it in until it says record. That doesn't mean you're actually recording. So when you get ready, and you're going to take instruction from the video director in the next room, when he says we're about ready, we're going to black, and then he'll say, okay, we're fading in. Then's when you want to come over and push this button for about a second until that starts a countdown timer, or a count up timer actually. So you can put it, and that should come up. If you don't see it come up and start counting, which I've had it take 3 times before, then go ahead and hit it, hold it in again until it comes up to record. You need to do this fairly quickly, and then let it start again. And
Yeah, I had the same problem.
don't know, here's done it again. So go back and get record again. Hold it in again. That's supposed to get it started. We're going to need to try to look at this because this is not good. Okay, we're in record. There it goes.
It's
Maybe
a
I'm
real-
holding
it's-
in
it's
just
a real
little bit
quick.
too long.
Yeah, just a
So
real
it needs
quick.
to be a fairly quick
Yeah,
push.
real quick.
Now we're recording. You can see it says record. It's counting up, and that'll run the entire service.
So the first time when you come in and you get the board all set up, you hit record and it's ready to record.
It's just on
And then
pause.
you go back
Yes.
and you give it a quick punch.
Right,
And it starts
because it's
counting.
on pause, and when you're done, just hold it in, and it'll stop. And then, once it stops, you're ready to pull it out, and then at that point, you can turn it off.
All right.
Okay? Okay.
Is
Okay.
that all for you?
Yeah, well, we may do it one more time. Okay, so, just like our main board, as we saw, we have scenes this way. We have our processing and all our inputs up here for different settings on the board. Go ahead and hit TV record. Now you see the board come live. Everything is muted. So we will need to determine based off of our program what we need to have ready to roll. So, and again, we have layers for the different things that are on the right-hand side of the board. And typically, on this board, we're normally using just layer A. On our left side of the board, we have the different layers set up with the wireless mics here, the choir, and other jacks that are on board C, nothing on D. So then now at this point we're ready to start setting up for what our program will be. We'll kind of go through that as a separate deal, but now to shut down, just come back and on this one, as opposed to what we do out there, we'll just go to make sure we're on our main screen by hitting the top one up here, and you can hit power down, and it'll bring up the screen, or confirmation screen. You can
So you
choose
don't,
yes.
you don't hit the off key?
There's no off key over here. So you really don't have to worry. Oh, there's one over here, okay. I don't know if that's really even set up. We can check it and see. It is. We can hit the off key. But again, you're not really sending signals. The main reason to do that out there is to keep the popping and from going through to the overall audience. So you have no amplifiers here to worry about doing that. So and at that point, he's already killed the recording on his side in the video center. So you can just go to the off mode. So, and this, once you get this, choose yes, flip your rocker switch. Now, one of the things that I didn't point out is the two speakers each have a light on them. So this light, if this light's not lit up and you're wondering why am I not hearing anything, check and make sure your light is on. Some people,
You didn't turn those speakers on to begin with.
we typically leave them on all the time.
There's a switch in the back.
There is a switch in the back.
Yeah, that's what we
If
used to
it's
cut it
not,
off all
if
the
it's
time.
not lit up, then be sure and turn it on. Okay?
Alright. But you don't ever turn them off. But you do.
Most of us never turn them off.
Okay, you do cut that off.
We do turn the power off on this.
Alright.
And we do on this and the two screens.
Yeah.
David,
Okay.
one Wednesday told me to turn it off like that, hit that button, then that button, and then
Okay.
turn that switch off.
Okay. All right.